We had the pleasure of living in Ireland for 3 months, and during those 3 months, I noticed 49 things that were different about life in Ireland compared to life in the United States. And Melissa's cooking.
Sorry, honey. That was perfect.
In our videos, Melissa usually does most of the planning because she's a good planner. But this video, no. In fact, I have to do this video while she is cooking, so it's gonna be exciting. You ready, hon?
Oh yes, I'm ready. Why do you have to do this video while I'm cooking?
Because you're a very busy person, and this is the only time I can get you for the camera time I need.
Okay.
Are you ready? 49 differences. Are you ready?
Are you gonna share them with me? Is that what we're doing?
Sassy.
We were talking about Ireland and I'm feeling potatoes.
Did you plan that?
I did not.
Really, I've broken it down into 2 different sections. Language type things that we noticed, and then just other oddities that we noticed. Things that I noticed.
Yes, things that Chris noticed. I wasn't really looking for the differences so much.
Okay, I should have numbered these.
Didn't number them?
I'm gonna go number them, so I'll be back.
That sounds like a good plan.
All right, honey, I've numbered all of the 49 things that I noticed about Ireland that I think you should know.
Good job.
Number 1, takeaway is used instead of to go.
I've become so accustomed to saying takeaway that I can't remember the last time I said to go. And really, when you think about it, takeaway makes so much more sense than to go because you're taking it away with you. Why do we say to go in the United States?
It doesn't make any sense. Okay, they use the word trolley instead of cart. So if you're going golfing and you want, hey, yeah, we want to rent a golf cart, which they actually don't do a lot of that. They'd be like, what? They call it a trolley.
So the golf cart is called the trolley, and then what's the push cart called? Because I thought that the golf cart was called the buggy. The trolley was the pull-along one. And then the trolley's like the cart in the grocery store, I thought.
Let's just say carts, trolleys, and pushy things are called things differently in Ireland. I don't know. Come on, we're on number 2 here.
You wanted my honest reaction and opinion. What, I'm supposed to self-edit?
They call French fries chips.
They do. Was that fast enough for you, honey?
They call potato chips crisps.
That they do. Chips are crispy.
That makes more sense. So if you want to go and order a coffee and say, I want to order a coffee, they'll be like, huh? It's called an Americano here. So you gotta order an Americano if you just want to buy coffee.
I order mochas, so it didn't impact me.
Melissa's drink is still super complex, and it takes it's like reports that she pulls out and checklists. So instead of wanting something right away, they go straight away.
Okay, like wanting something. Like I feel like straight away is, I'll do that for you straight away. I'll get that for you straight away.
Instead of right away.
Right. I was confused by your phrasing.
Straight.
What number are we on?
Number 7, lads instead of guys. They don't go, hey guys, they go, hey lads.
They do. I was called a lad.
In the States, a group of people, females and males, will say guys.
Fair point.
The word crack has a much different meaning in Ireland.
Crack means the gossip. If a bar has good crack, it has great conversation in it.
Crack is much worse in the United States. I don't know if this is a difference, but it made the list. Number 9, cheery and cheap is a saying.
I love cheery and cheap. When you're talking about stores and stuff, oh, it was just so cheery and cheap. I'm like, that's delightful. Like, that's just so fun rather than, oh, I got this on sale.
Okay, so honey, number 10. If there's a bunch of people all lined up, what do they call it in Ireland?
A queue.
They're not standing in line, they're standing in a queue. I gotta say, this is my most boring observation, but it made the list. They call workout shoes trainers. And maybe that's not that big of a deal because I guess cross trainers, but I don't know. They're on the signs on the shoe stores. Trainers.
So if you're shoe shopping and you see shoes in the windows and it says trainers, it means workout shoes.
Yeah. Number 12, what do they call cilantro?
Coriander?
Ding, 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 ding. Number 13, instead of police, it's Garda.
Correct.
Number 14, we actually saw a sign that said no dog fouling.
Oh, I forgot about that.
What would that sign be in the States?
Well, maybe no dog poop or pick up your dog poop or something like that. Although like the no dog following makes me think of like throwing a yellow flag or...
Okay, hun, number 15. They don't call them elevators, they're called lifts.
They lift you up.
That makes sense.
But sometimes they let you down.
Good observation.
I don't know if lifts is better than elevator.
A sub difference to that. Number 16. The way that they numbered the floors on a lift, it's odd because sometimes the ground floor is a G, sometimes it's a 0, and sometimes it's a 1. It's really confusing.
It can be puzzling.
Such an interesting prop for this particular video.
I have to share. We're in Portugal making a Polish meal using potatoes.
Number 17. So if you go bring someone to the airport, we call it, we're gonna drop them off at the airport. Or there's the drop off area. No, in Ireland it's called the set down area.
Interesting. Now that I think about it, set down sounds much kinder than drop off.
It does. You know, Ireland's an older country. They've had more time to think about the right words to use. That's what I think it is.
Perchance.
Hen night instead of bachelorette party.
And stag night instead of bachelor party.
No, oh my gosh, we might have just hit 50. But we're gonna count that in the same one. That was number 18. Number 19, they spell tires, T-Y-R-E-S.
I'm still not convinced. I know you saw it in a couple of spots, but...
If I saw it in a couple spots, it counts. For the last language thing, it's my most favorite, coolest thing that I noticed about their language is how they say the TH sound. It is awesome.
Okay, well, one, their language, it's still English. So instead of, is that thunder, it's, is that thunder? It's just like a difference that has come about because that particular phonetic sound doesn't exist in the Irish language.
And every time we heard it, it was like music to our ears. Honey, that was all the language stuff. Now we're on to the weird things I just noticed.
Weird or simply different?
What, just different, I guess. But I don't know. There's one obvious one. They drive on the other side of the road.
Correct. And you did all of the driving while we were in Ireland. So apart from feeling some unease, I didn't have to cope with it.
Yeah, now this isn't part of my list. You know, obviously the steering wheel's on the other side as well. And we, I think 1 or 2 times actually went to the wrong side of the car. So that was a lot of fun.
Or 3 or 4 or 10 times for myself, thank you.
Number 22, there are no straight roads in Ireland.
Oh dear God, there are not. Not a one.
Number 23, there are very, very few wide roads in Ireland.
Also true.
That's a little scary. Number 24, sidewalks really aren't a big thing in Ireland. They have them. It's not like in the States where sidewalks, it's like it's a policy, a city policy where just sidewalks are always built. Sidewalks are sometimes there, sometimes not. So it's like,
I guess my observation would be that sidewalks are often not very wide and that it's very common to just go ahead and walk in the street and not be too worried about it. And people are just watching out for one another in a different way than they do in the States.
Yeah.
Like I would not walk in the street in Dallas. I just wouldn't do it. I would easily walk in the street in Ireland and be like, well.
and you did walk in the street in Ireland.
A lot.
The segue to number 25, single file walking is pretty common in Ireland because the sidewalks are so tiny and skinny.
We did a lot of it.
It's odd trying to have a conversation when you're walking in single file. That was a new one for Melissa and I.
I don't know if other people maybe just don't talk while they walk as much as we seem to feel a need to.
Honey, you're gonna love this one. Number 26, there are a lot of cookie warnings.
Cookie warnings?
Because we're in Europe and we pull up our browser, we get all the warnings about the cookies.
I'm sorry, but I was thinking about baking and I was like, what? Although I think we both went a different route in how we handled our cookie warnings. I usually declined most unless it was absolutely necessary instead of just accepting them all. And I think you were impatient and just accepted them.
I understand the premise of it and why it's a good thing, but sometimes it's like, oh, I have to fill out a form just to go to this website. Every website I go to. And then when I go back to the website 2 days later, I've got to do it again. It's not fun. We've noticed on dessert menus that they typically have a cheese board as an option.
True, and yet we never, ever, ever went for the cheese board as a dessert. We always went for the sticky toffee pudding, almost always.
Wait staff work by committee.
Oh yes, you could order your drinks from one person, have another person come over to take your dinner order, and then have somebody else come to take your second round of drink orders. And then somebody else might come over to take your dessert order. Like,
Yeah.
you have no idea.
They just, they take care of you.
For us, the first couple of times we were a little confused and we'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, they're already helping me. And they're like, oh no, I can help you too, so.
We always pay for our meals with credit cards, usually. There's never a spot for tipping. Tipping's kind of weird in Ireland. It doesn't seem like it's that regular.
Yeah, that one was kind of a challenge. Like, we tried to tip with cash when we had cash, but we didn't always have cash. And then when there wasn't a line, and when I would try to tip my stylists, they would be like, no, we don't need it. And since I see stylists regularly, it became a thing of, oh, Melissa, you only owe me $10 because you overpaid, and that sort of thing. So it was kind of a thing where it was like, well, am I being rude by insisting on tipping, or am I being rude by not tipping? I think we've come to the conclusion that 10% is kind of the norm, but I don't know. I'm still puzzled.
All right, coffee break. Okay, I've got coffee. Melissa's on to the next thing that she's cutting. So now we're at number 30, just 19 more to go. I noticed that there's a lot of hitchhiking in Ireland.
Oh my gosh, and that it's done by like young girls. I mean, there were other people too. There was an older gentleman I saw once, but typically it seemed like it was young girls out there with their thumbs up.
Don't see that a lot in the States.
That wasn't a look of disapproval from me, just concern about safety.
I noticed that there's not a lot of pay at the pump.
I never fueled up a car the entire time we were in Ireland, so I didn't really pay attention to that.
Number 32, I noticed more women drinking beer in Ireland.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of women drink beer in Minnesota and in the States, but yeah, it was probably more.
I don't see a lot of women drinking beer, but I saw a lot more in Ireland. This one surprised me. Irish cheddar cheese is much different than American cheddar cheese. It's a little bit like Parmesan cheese to me, a lot drier and flakier.
I feel like it has some nutty notes to it, and I could be totally wrong on that, but I think that Irish cheddar is absolutely delicious, and I don't know if superior is the right word, but I sure do like it a lot more.
It's actually the cheese we buy now, and it's the one I eat on all my sandwiches, so. I noticed that there's a lot of laundromats that are outside, like next to a gas station or outside of a grocery store. It's not something we saw a lot of in Minnesota.
I didn't see any of that in Minnesota. It'd be way too cold in the wintertime. No one would have clean clothes all winter long in Minnesota.
Number 35, authentic Turkish barbers are a big thing, and I don't know why. Most of the towns we went to, there was a Turkish barber sign. So are Turkish barbers kind of a big deal? They've got, if they're authentic, are they like?
I've never been. I do not know. I could not say.
We noticed several moving inclines or declines. So not like escalators, just kind of like at the airport where they're just moving, but not. They were either going up or going down. I've never seen one of those in the United States.
I would describe them as escalators that were flat. Like, they didn't have steps, they were just flat.
So maybe we should say escalators are flat in Ireland.
Maybe. I'm sure there's a way better way to do it than what I just said.
Number 37, grocery store clerks sit instead of stand.
Yeah, they do. And I think that probably makes a lot of sense. They probably end up with less foot issues and varicose veins and such. Although it could be bad on the other side of like, we need to stand up. But if you can sit or you can stand and you can switch it up throughout the day, that's probably ideal.
When we went to pubs, we noticed a lot of the spirits were upside down in some sort of dispensing contraption. Every place we went, that's different.
I guess. I think there are plenty of American bars that do that, but it's not as common for sure. I don't know if it's that we notice these things so much as Chris noticed them and decided there were differences and made a list.
It's my list, honey. My list.
Yeah, and so you own that list, sir, instead of saying, oh, well, we noticed this, we noticed that.
I've seen these in the United States, but I don't see them very much anymore. Roll-on deodorant. That's kind of the only selection you have, at least in a lot of the places I went to. These guys.
I would say that that's accurate. The other option I noticed was spray on, and I didn't want spray on.
Number 40, we are getting there. I noticed trash receptacles have a lot of options, specifically a little slot for ash and a little slot for gum.
Oh, well that's good.
Here's an odd one. Grocery stores have American sections.
And they are tiny, so tiny. Didn't we get your peanut butter at one? Like I was able to find the kind of peanut butter you like.
They had Jif peanut butter, crunchy. I like that, and I did buy some. Then they had like Mike and Ike's. I guess that's an American treat. We did a whole episode and we tried different foods and stuff, and so I have been really keeping foods out of this. But I do want to make a reference and give a shout out to different types of candy bars. And sometimes they'll have the same kind of candy bars, like they'll have Kit Kat, but then I noticed like a Kit Kat orange flavored. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
I wonder if they have them in the States now or if they still don't. Like, is it that Kit Kat finally came out with that? And we happened to be in Ireland when we noticed it? Or is it something that folks in Ireland like more, like as a flavor? And so they offer it there, but they don't offer it in the States.
You may pose some great questions, my dear.
I think I need somebody from Kit Kat to make a comment below. I mean, come on, there's gotta be somebody working there that knows the answer.
I'm sure the CEO is just sitting there cruising YouTube right now. Oh my gosh, Chris+Melissa. Oh, he's probably told the secretary, you leave a comment.
As they should.
This isn't probably the case in all Irish bathrooms or men's rooms, but men's room urinal cakes look like sliced bananas.
I have not been to a men's room. Not in Ireland, not in the United States.
Honey, trust me, the graphic just proved it. Here's an odd one. Outdoor gyms. Not seen those in the United States, and they're pretty interesting. In fact, Melissa and I tried them out. Okay, is that hard?
A little.
I feel like Tony Little.
They're a lot of fun. And I have a feeling that they probably have some around the United States and that this is just something that people have come up with in the past couple of years, and we just didn't happen to come across them in the United States.
We lived in Minnesota, so half the year it would have just been a frozen icicle. In a lot of places I've noticed they've got these little silverware envelopes.
I wonder if that is from the pandemic.
So this next one, probably not exclusive to Ireland, but it's the first time I've ever seen it. In Ireland, they have greased pole walking contests outside your door.
Well, not outside everybody's door, but we encountered one and it was quite entertaining. There was a huge crowd. We had to go join.
It's on to Greece. And he go first. He's going in with the dribbles.
It never happened in Minnesota. Never walked out the door like, that's a greased pole walking contest. What's going on? Number 47.
We're almost done.
Shopping carts are not free to use.
I didn't have to pay for a shopping cart in Ireland. I have had to in Portugal.
How about this? Shopping carts have a lock on them, and they may or may not charge you to use a shopping cart.
I didn't encounter it. I don't know if we ever used a cart though.
This one I think is really serious to Melissa. Bacon is different in Ireland.
Bacon is delicious in Ireland. It's like so salty and wonderful and kind of close to tasting like ham, which I also love. Good job, Ireland. Good job on that bacon.
Drum roll for number 49. I'm reading the drum rolls happening. Pudding is not pudding in Ireland. They've got something called black pudding and white pudding, and it comes in these tubes, and let's just say it is not the pudding that we know in the United States.
It is not. It is sausage.
But it seems like a weird kind of sausage. I should have tried it. I didn't try it. I feel bad, but What are you gonna do?
I didn't try it. I didn't feel bad. I'm a fairly picky eater, and them's the breaks.
Okay, those were my 49 observations and Melissa's commentary on those said things. Thanks, Melissa.
You're welcome, Chris.
If you guys have any of your own observations, please comment below. Hey, we also did some videos where we tried food in Canada and Ireland, so check them out, right? Like this one right there, and maybe this one. See you. Thanks.